Warning: the opinions expressed on this particular podcast are the opinions of the hosts and the guests alone. They do not represent the Army, the police, or anything else. Simply our opinions, no one else's. Thank you and enjoy before I forget.
Hey, Tyree,
Hey, what's up?
you have a podcast, right?
Yeah, I have a podcast. It's called Before I Forget. It's on every Monday and Thursday morning.
Did you know about Anchor?
Yeah, I know about Anchor. That's what we use to distribute our podcast.
Did you know that it has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer?
Yeah, I knew about all that stuff, and we use it every single time for every single show for editing, right on our phone and right from our computer.
Did you know you can distribute your podcast on different listening platforms?
Yeah, we knew about that. We use Anchor to distribute our podcast to Apple Music, Spotify, and tons of other different platforms everywhere across the world.
Did you know that Anchor is free?
I knew it was free because if I had to pay to use stuff, I wouldn't use it.
Well, due to the extremely sensitive topic of this upcoming podcast, I'm going to issue kind of a warning. We're going to be talking about a fratricide in detail. If you don't want to hear this, don't listen. I'm not offended by that, but this is just something that we've kind of been sitting on, thinking about, and talking about each other, or with each other about this for, I don't know, the past 15, 16 years. I'm just going to talk about the fratricide of Kreider. Again, listener discretion is advised. If you don't want to listen to this, don't listen to this. I'm not offended. Thank you.
What's up, everybody? It's Tyree Brown, and this is Before I Forget, my bad. Here with Kevin. Hey. And here with Doc Skillen. He's our guest for the day. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Doc.
Hey, what's up? Wesley Doc Skillen. Was with 126 for a hot minute through the 2000s. I think I got there in 2001, early 2001.
Okay, so you know a little bit about the unit before 9/11.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, dude. Because I was I came in 2000, July of 2000. So for me, I was going to a job, you know.
Yep.
Because there hadn't been a conflict for a minute, so
you're kind of in the same boat with us when we decided, hey, we're going to join the Army, and hey, it's a fucking job. It's not there's no wars to worry about right now, right?
Yeah, right. Like I was in a small town in Tennessee, and like factory job or drive truck or something like that. I was like, not for me. So,
all right. And so when did how old were you when you decided to join?
I was actually on the delayed entry program, and I was 18, and I was 19 when I ended up going to basic training and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So we're all around the same age and shit. I always thought you were a little bit older, Doc, for some reason.
Oh yeah, well I'll be 41 next March, man.
Damn, you old as a motherfucker. I was right with my assumption.
I'm still rocking and rolling, man. I feel like I do not look my age, which I'm pretty happy about. I know the wife's happy about it, you know.
Yeah, you look good to be like old as fuck. Question: what made you decide to go the medic route?
Oh, bro, it was really just pure luck, fate, what have you. Because when I went in the recruiters, I told them, I was like, hey, I just want to fucking be a ranger and go airborne. You know, my dad, he was in the Navy, and he was pretty badass dude. He was a SEAL. Did like a few tours in NAM, and I wanted to be like him. You know what I mean? I couldn't see myself being on a boat for 6 months. So,
right on. So the need to join was kind of instilled in your blood from the start.
Oh yeah, like man, there's been like someone from the family and the conflicts like for quite a while. You know.
So the Skillen name has definitely been a part of American history going all the way back, pretty much.
Oh yeah, man. Like I've done like a little tracing. It goes back to like 13th century, like Viking and shit. So
you're a fucking Viking and shit.
Yeah, like the first time it popped up was like in Scotland around 13th century and shit.
That's dope.
Yeah. Do you remember like at the defect, aka the Chow Hall, when they would like sell those swords and like the coat of arms and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Man, I ended up getting one of those, dude.
No, they sold that shit right at the fact on Lebanon.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Like right as you're like coming in there and giving them your social and shit.
Yeah. So I only ever ate there when I ran out of money and had to use my meal card to eat. So, man, which I think was pretty typical.
Almost every time I was hungover.
Oh yeah. Hell no, man. I'm in there for breakfast, man.
Yeah. All the time.
You can't really knock their breakfast. The shit was hidden all the time, constantly. Yeah. Anyway, so you get to your unit after basic training. Give us a little example of how things changed from pre 9/11 to post 9/11 for you.
Oh man, it was. I mean, we were pretty much just chilling. A few graphic beer, home felt stuff like that. And yeah, man, really, it was chilling.
All right. When did you?
I remember, like, just not doing much of crap, dude, and just being like, wow, this is definitely like a 9-to-5 job. Because, like maintenance and stuff, I was like, I really wasn't doing much medical stuff, man, unless we like had a sick call rotation. Because we like each squad used to run through the aid station, So,
right. So, sick call for folks listening, they don't understand. Sick call is when you wake up in the morning and
said, "Mommy,
and shit.
Mommy, I don't feel good, and I don't want to go to school."
Exactly. You got a cold or some shit, and so you don't infect everybody else. You take your ass to sick call, or you got a twisted ankle or some shit, or something like that. They'll take care of you. It's like a triage.
Your ass was hung over as shit, and you didn't want to go on a run.
Right about that.
I remember when we were privates, dude. Like, it was put out to us. You don't go to sick call unless you're dying, or bleeding out somewhere, or you have an STD.
Oh man, they had this STD. They got to throw that in there.
I mean, dude, I remember my brief. I remember the end brief when I first got there. Sergeant Major Conklin, sitting there talking about like how great Schweinfurt is and how great it is to be stationed in Europe and all that stuff and in Germany. And he's like, but when you go out in the economy, I mean, enjoy yourselves, but just know, crabs and chlamydia are the two most popular STDs. I'm like, this is the end brief. What?
Oh
yeah.
Welcome to Germany. Who'll burn your balls off if you touch one of these nasty motherfuckers.
Yeah. I mean, generally, like pre-9/11 is pretty chill, man. Like, you came to work, you did PT, you went out drinking. man, then it was all over again. Oh, dang, we got to go to the field. All right. Go to the field, qualify, come back.
And the cycle continues.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then where were you exactly when 9/11 happened?
Man, we were at Leadward. We were on lunch. And like someone came pounding on the door. I just walked in the fucking door with some Taco Bell, about to sit down, you know, took off the VU top.
Shout out to Taco Bell.
Right. And then they come, you know, hey, you know, we got attacked, blah, blah. So I ran down to, you know, basically where the medics kind of congregated in Specialist Mackey's room, and you know, watched it go down, watched the planes fly in, and everybody was like, fuck. Couldn't believe it, dude. Like, you know, it was like, no fucking way. Couldn't, you know, and then it was like, man, we're fucking fine. We're going to fucking war. Let's get ready. You know, we got locked down. You know, they let us go at the end of, you know, COB, you know, close the business, which was like 4:30, 3 o'clock some days, you know. I can't remember what time it was. And then they ended up calling us everybody back and locking us down, telling us that they were protesting in town, burning flags and shit like that. And we were like sitting there just around waiting to hear what's going on, like, I don't know, like 02, 03. And they're like, all right, you guys go home, go to bed, you know, don't go anywhere, don't drink, you know, be back here 0630 PT formation. It's like, motherfuckers.
Yeah. So it's right back to right back to normal shit for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then, you know, then it started where everybody is on high alert, you know, gates locked down, used to be able to come in and out, you know, it wasn't a big deal bringing people in to, you know, the locals, female, you know, it was a lot easier. You know, to sign them in post and do all that stuff. Then they locked everything.
Wait, whoa. You said back then you didn't have to sign them in?
No, man. Like when I first got to Germany, dude, like I remember like females were like permanently living in the barracks, like with their GI friends. I remember one specialist that would not put his name out there, but he had a room inspection. And, you know, as long as your wall locker is locked, they can't, you know, open it up and inspect it, right? So he had, you know, we go back there for lunch, and we hear something. We're like, what the hell is that? It's like, dude, it's coming from your wall locker. He's like, oh, shit. He's like, man, no, I forgot to let them bitches out.
Oh, man. And them bitches.
Yeah, there was 2 of them in there, dude.
Oh, man.
Just quiet as a mouse, you know. Jeez. You know, like the German back and forth and shit. But yeah, that's how it was, you know, like pre 9/11. It was.
They were down for the cause.
Yeah, no, or you would like walk in, like in Bravo Company, you'd walk in and like, instead of, you know, Private Snuffy cleaning the fucking bathroom, it was some German girl, his girlfriend, and they're cleaning the common areas. Or taking a shower right next to, you know, whoever.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, I remember plenty of times going over there to Bravo Company and, like, seeing, like, some little naked German girl walk down the hall and going to somebody's, you know, it was wild, dude.
Hey, man.
Yeah, I mean, 20.
So it is.
Yeah, I was 20 at the time, you know. I was like, this is crazy.
Okay, so you're acclimated to Schweinfurt, Germany.
Oh, yeah.
At Leadward Barracks. And it's time for your first deployment. Where do you go?
Kosovo. We did a 52-day field rotation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Fond fucking memories of Graf and
Bro,
Beard.
talk about hell. Those 52 days sucked, man.
Frozen hell.
Yes. Like, dude, the first day, I think it was like, I can't remember, it was the Hick or Styx lanes, one of them, man. But all of our gear was already wet and soaked and muddy. And we're going out there to do this stuff. Man, I sent back 12 cold weather casualties that day. The first day.
Can you say it again?
That was when we were staying in that muddy tent.
He said he sent back 12 cold weather casualties. So cold weather casualties are individuals or soldiers who were injured from the cold weather. Exactly how it sounds. I got a story for you, Doc.
Well, with that, let me finish with this one.
Go ahead.
Like, it was so bad because we didn't have any heaters on any of the Brads. None of them worked. Like, it was so bad. Our feet were so froze. Like, the guys were trying to get up on top of the Bradleys and thaw our feet out on the exhaust of the Bradley, which is only like a foot wide. And just, so I had to take turns like thawing our feet out on the exhaust of the Bradleys. Or if we happened to be around one of the Abrams, we'd go to the back of the Abrams to thaw out the exhaust.
Yeah.
Which, that wasn't healthy at all.
Our uniform. Yeah, I remember standing up. Just to warm up, you just breathe in that exhaust. You're standing there for like 20 minutes until you started. Not smart, man. Not smart.
Yeah.
So, your audio's a little funky there, Kevin.
Is it?
Slightly. Anyway, it's good now. 52-day field problem, man. I remember that shit. I was a casualty, and I guess I got shot in the knee or some shit. And they called for casualty evac, and here comes Doc Skillen, fucking jogging up. I'm supposed to be laying on the ground, so I lay down on the ground. It's fucking ice cold. It's cold as fuck outside. Like fucking really cold, and I'm from California, so it's just just a little bit of cold is terrible for me. And I'm black. Anyway, fucking Skillen comes on over, and he another soldier. I don't remember exactly who it was, but they went about 5 feet and dropped me right in a fucking puddle.
Man, I want to say it was Kicking Wing.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was Phillips.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a Billy Jack move.
Yeah. So we get over to the casualty evac station and shit, and I'm like shaking like a leaf, like crazy. And they're like, "Man, you're a really good actor." I'm like, "Bro, I'm not acting. These assholes dropped me in a fucking puddle." And that's how I really got to know Skillen. I really didn't know him at that point. I think at when that shit happened, that's when I kind of really got to know who this dude was. He's a cool dude, I promise. So, fucking, we're in Kosovo. Your first deployment.
Yeah.
It's along with us.
Yeah.
And it's in a situation where motherfuckers can actually get hurt.
Oh,
Tell me some of the things that you dealt with when you were working on individuals. Don't name names when it comes down to that kind of shit or whatever.
Yeah.
You can keep it clean, but or tell it how you want to tell it.
Like Kosovo wise?
Yeah.
Man, a lot of it was just like a lot of dehydration stuff and all that. But I think I was one of the only medics I know out of 126 that dealt with a real world casualty that deployment. And they weren't even soldiers. They were, local contractors. And they were driving down from the retrans in a fuel truck.
Oh,
and
I forgot about that.
He was going too fast, and they didn't fill up the air brakes or whatever it was, and they ended up crashing that thing, and it kind of messed them dudes up. And we were way too far out to do a medevac, and I was the only medic out there, so I couldn't leave. And so I called in a bird. I did a 9-line medevac and flew him out. And we weren't supposed to do that for locals, but you know me, I didn't give a shit.
Yeah. I watched that shit happen. I watched that fucking big ass tanker fly. I promise it had to have been about 50 feet through the air and just crash. And those dudes are just bouncing around on the inside like freaking ping pong balls. Just like, oh man, I'm like, these dudes, they might not make it. It didn't look good at all.
Yeah. I mean, they end up being fine, you know. But hey, they were a little messed up, a little jacked up.
Yeah,
but
I actually have a picture of that bird taking off.
But other than that, you know, I mean, I had to treat myself because of old Fred Rock. We're out there at the gate. You know, I always helped you guys with gate guard, radio duty, all that shit. So I was out there on the gate, and Frederick, you know, we're surrounded by all those little kids. You know, hey, Mister, you know, trying to sell those DVDs and all that crap. And
you say try, I bought them shits. It was
well, I mean, we all did.
Oh yeah,
dude. I mean, a few of them was down there trying to sell their sisters and stuff, older sisters.
I did not purchase that.
No.
None of us did. For the record, none of us did.
Yeah. So, I had a knife on my side, and Frederick comes and just from the behind me and just jerks it out while all these kids are around. So just natural instinct, I grabbed it, and he sliced my hand wide open. I had to go get stitches and stuff. Well, they made him drive me back to whatever the main post was.
Monty.
Yeah, Monty. And I was cussing him out the whole fucking way. The whole way. Yeah. I'm sorry, man. I'm like, what the hell were you thinking? What is that? Man, I just don't know. I just wanted to check it out. I'm like, well, fuck, we're out there with a bunch of kids. It's just natural instinct, dude, to grab it. I don't want to get stabbed with my own knife, dude. That's
right.
Bueno.
And you remember those kids, dude? Like, I remember we would park our Humvees, and you know, we'd be like sitting in the Humvees or something, or just talking to some locals, and then next thing you know, dude, there's kids got the back hatch on those Humvees open and like trying to steal MREs and stuff.
Yeah,
like they were crafty little fellas.
Yeah, but I mean,
fucking jerks.
Other than that, like medical wise, man, that tour, it really, you know, good call and stuff. You know, you guys were talking about old man Jay Winchester, the last one, man, and I remember having to give him an IV and stuff. I've got pictures of it and stuff. Like he's like, you got me. After we were doing those air assault missions.
Yeah.
Like,
so
I remember that.
Dude.
Sergeant Winchester, man. Sergeant Winchester, for people listening, this guy got his first combat infantry badge, first saw combat during the Persian Gulf War in the early 90s. And so when we all got there, you know, he was this crusty NCO, angry. I think we talked about him in the last episode of Griff.
Man, he was Audie Murphy's AG.
Dude, right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? He was right there next to Washington when they crossed the Delaware. You know what I mean?
Right.
And yeah, dude. So for him to get an IV, that air insertion mission that we did, how many IVs to people? We had a couple of
Man, I ran out. That had to call in resupply.
Yeah.
I mean, they were right with us. You know what I mean? They were in the damn Humvees, but at the top of the damn hill.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like that night, man, it was so freaking hot.
Yeah.
And there were so many damn mosquitoes, bro.
Yeah.
Dude,
and then
dive bombing our ponchos, man.
Sergeant Bloom's like, build a fire. I don't care. So, and everybody, we got our ponchos in, man, it had to have been like 90-degree weather. In the plastic, you know, rain ponchos.
Yeah.
Next to a fire. It was hot as fucking hell. And
you remember what happened after that?
Yeah, I'm getting to that. I'm just setting it up, man. You know, and then, you know, with the mosquitoes, you got the if you got your punch on, you just hear zing, zing, zing all night. Or if you put your head out, they're just landing all over you. Mm-hmm. You're finally about to doze off, and then you start getting dusted by freaking helicopters. You're like, what the hell? They land, a little further off. What the hell y'all doing out here with a fire?
I remember them yelling at us over like a PA system or a loudspeaker or some shit, man. Put your fire out. We're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Get out of here,
I remember Sergeant Bloom just flipping them off, like, fuck you.
Yeah. It's like, dude, bro, we're trying to survive out here, man. Leave us alone.
Like, just a quick pause of that. Like, Sergeant Bloom, like, I totally love that guy. He was freaking one of the best NCOs that I had the pleasure of working with, like non-combat, and
absolutely.
Like, dude, he taught like all of us a lot of shit, and it was, it was awesome working with that dude.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, this deployment's done. And I feel like the medics were the only folks during that deployment that really did their fucking job.
I mean,
you guys really had to deal with a lot of bullshit from a lot of folks too.
It was guard duty and just bullshit patrols. Out there looking for them smuggling stuff. And man, it ended up being them Coca-Colas and Camel cigarettes and shit. And after we're holding them there for like 2-3 hours, then they come over there. Oh, just let them go. It's like, okay.
Y'all remember going up to the Serbian borders when we first got up there, and like we were posted up right there on the border, and you could see the Serbian guard tower, and like they're sitting up there with like binos watching us as we're sitting there with binos watching them.
Yeah.
And it was just ridiculous, dude.
Watching us do all kind of dumb shit.
That was the time that a certain NCO got the nickname Captain Skyline. Because remember we did a tactical checkpoint, right? So lights out, blackout drive, all that nonsense, night vision and all. And we lost radio comms. So Captain Skyline, as he would become known to become, or later become, drives his Humvee, headlights on and all, to the top of this ridge line, and in that direction was Camp Monteith, and it's lit up. Do you know what I mean? So like you have the sky is a little bit bright. He's up there, so he's just completely silhouetted, right? Headlights and everything, and we're like, this defeats the whole point. You know what I mean? They knew we were there anyway, but still.
Those bright sky missions were BS. Do you remember the other base that we went to and like we pulled patrols out of? It wasn't Viper, it was the other one. Not the one with retrain. Zegra? Was that it?
Yeah, Zegra. Yep.
Man, I remember being out on one of those and the command, and I will be talking a bit more about that throughout this discussion more than likely. They wanted to come on through as we're like on this narrow road trying to get, everybody turned around and, we're done for the night. It's, 0304. And I'm driving a FLA, which is, a high-backed Humvee that is very top-heavy.
Yeah. Thanks for explaining that too.
Yeah. Right. And, they make us pull off to the side Humvees on this very narrow road. So a third Humvee can come through, which is the command. And little did I know, I'm halfway hanging off a freaking cliff. Yeah. Just teetering, pretty much. They end up pulling me back up with some snow chains or whatever. Sergeant Nunn and a couple other guys.
Hey, shout out Sergeant Nunn.
Right. And we're headed back, finally. And we're going just right along. It was me and Doc Sheldon. Y'all remember him?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's me and him, was riding back, and we're going about to go around this curve, and no, it's not turning that way. And here we go. It was just destined for me to go off a freaking cliff. So we went off a cliff, and man, we're just down. I'm like, damn. We finally hit in this embankment, and just luckily, and right before a cliff, like you're fucked. There ain't no coming back cliff. Get out after both of us got hit with this radio because it broke. We hit that hard. Because we're flying through trees and stuff. Get out, man. And we came about 2 foot from running over a whole family in a tent. And I'm talking about like from great grandson to like, great great grandma, all in this one little tent. It's like so lucky. So then we had to run back up and try to catch the convoy because our radio was busted, and it was a long way back. And it was just me and Sheldon. So
yeah,
I was like,
was old too.
Yeah, he wasn't that old. He just
he looked old as a motherfucker.
Yeah. And luckily we caught the last Humvee, man. The last Humvee, and we're like, hey, we gotta get recovery. So they ended up coming back, but I was really worried about that. Like being stuck out there. I was like, damn it.
Hell yeah. Dude, that particular deployment, I remember having so many vehicle issues because we got stuck up about 100 meters from the Serbian border. Power steering went out. Humvee, the wheels locked to the right, the road curved to the left. Me, Billy Jack, and Sergeant Winchester were up there for 3 days. They had to come out there and dig our way out, right? They had to bring up all these like earth movers and shit, you know what I'm saying? The engineers had to come out there and pretty much widen the road and in some places create a road just so they can get a wrecker up to our Humvee to pull it out. And then you remember we were trying to take the engineers, the 12 Bravos on route clearance with us, and the road narrowed up. I think Sergeant Duel was the lead truck. Couldn't go any further, so we try and back down this narrow path, and these guys back up way too wide, and they end up backing their Humvee up over the edge, and they're like, oh shit, they get out, and next thing you know, dude, Humvee just fucking rolls and falls. And do y'all remember that? Yeah, and we had to sit out there and guard it. Like I sat there, me and Billy Jack sat there in the Humvee in the rain all night to guard this truck. Like, dude, they can come take this stuff. I don't care.
Hey, no, you want to talk about the stupidest guard thing we ever did was, you remember when we, I can't remember if it was, I think it was the 52-day one. And we had the C4 training with the engineers.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
And somebody blew a Humvee size hole in the ground. And we all had to pull guard duty on it.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
They were like, hey, just do whatever with this box of C4. You a bunch of 11 Bravos.
What
Have
the
fun.
fuck do you think it's gonna
happen? Like, they packed a whole MRE box full of C4. Hey, see what happens.
Man, no, we're not going to name, but I'm trying to remember who was specifically in charge of that.
Oh,
I can't remember. I don't know. I definitely remember that though, and being like, y'all did what? That was a crater, dude.
Yeah.
That was a crater.
You
could have hit a Bradley in there.
Because that's when we still had, what's his name for a platoon sergeant?
Sergeant Swaney, Sergeant Rush?
No, Sergeant Rush, yeah.
Okay.
Bad, Sergeant Rush.
For y'all, for reference, Sergeant Rush looked like Tom Green. Kinda.
Right?
Just picture Tom Green with like buck teeth and glasses.
Do y'all remember
and a ill hairline? Way back.
Yeah. Way back hairline.
Well, do you? The thing that always sticks out with me with him was his female preference. If you remember what I'm talking about.
I don't remember that.
Me neither.
The all natural,
Oh. Well, he, older generation guy. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. But like, hey, being in there on like radio duty or whatever, and he'd be like leaving his books later. He'd be like, "Damn, come on, Sergeant Rush, I want to see that shit."
He's a fan of the He's a fan of the Bush, I guess.
For people listening, we're not Bush shaming, right? You do what you want to do. It's your body. Do what you want.
Hey, look, all right, you got to think time here. It was like 2001. You know, that just wasn't a thing that the younger generation did. You know,
right? Yeah,
not so much.
No.
This conversation is getting weird.
Hey, it is. We are getting off subject here.
Yeah. Let's
so reel it back.
Okay, so now you're back in Schweinfurt after Kosovo. What are you doing? What are you getting yourself into?
We were freaking partying, dude. And
yes,
that was about it. We were like, man, we just got back from Kosovo. Man, y'all don't even know. Tabasco's.
Yep.
Oh,
man.
Yeah. Yes,
so many brawls and fights. Man, ridiculous.
You remember Tidwell?
Yeah. Yep.
The battalion supply guy. I mean, he was at the time he was like a specialist, or I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And remember he was the Iron Spader. He had the highest PT score in the battalion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So one night, dude, we're down at Tabasco's, right? And it's just he and I left. We're the only ones down there still. Everybody else had already gone. And Tidwell had escaped. And so we're there. We're hanging out. We're chilling. Some what were they? Artillery dudes or tankers? I think they were artillery guys. They come up there and they just yank his skateboard out, and they're like, "This is ours now." And we're like, "What the shit?" And there's like 10 or 12 of these dudes, right? And I tell Tidwell, like, "Look, dude. I mean, I guess you can get your skateboard, or we can just roll out and we can go get another one." You know what I'm saying? And he's like, "Yeah, that's probably what we should do. That's probably the best bet." I was like, "Yeah, cool." So we paid our tabs. We're heading out the door. He's like, "Hey man, I'm gonna piss. I'll be right back." So I walk out the door, and you remember down those steps, right? So I'm standing on the sidewalk at the bottom of those steps, and waiting for and like out of nowhere, like I see him bust out of the door and come hauling ass down those steps with a skateboard in his hand. I was like, "What? They gave it back to you?" He was like, "No, I just took this motherfucker. You better run." And so like behind him, dude, every one of these guys, like 10 or 12 of these dudes, just follow him down the stairs. We're about to be our asses handed. Like I'm a fight, but like I can't take on this many dudes. And so they're sitting there talking shit. I'm eyeballing one guy. He's got an earring in, and my first thought was like, okay, as soon as this goes down, I'm yanking that bitch out of his head. That's gonna put him down. You know what I mean? There's gonna be blood. Somebody might get scared of that, and then that might de-escalate a little bit. So shit's about to pop off. Tidwell's holding the skateboard like he's about to like baseball bat somebody in the face with it, right? Just like in that movie Kids. Ooh. And so they kind of step to us, and I'm standing my ground, and next thing I fucking know, Tidwell is sprinting off into downtown Schweinfurt. Like, what the fuck? I see him gone, and I turn back, and one dude swings on me, and I manage to kind of get out of the way, and I turn and run. They fucking chase after me. I do a dive combat roll thing and change directions on them, and try and get into a taxi, and like they fucking chase me down. One dude punches me in the back of the head. The whole time, Tidwell is running. It's just like in the goddamn cartoon. Tidwell is running out of these alleyways and across like the cobblestone walkways there, right? Out of one alleyway, "You can't catch me," disappears into another alleyway, comes out another one, "I'm the Iron Spader." Like this whole time, I'm like trying not to get beat up. Like, oh my god, dude.
Oh yeah, dude.
I just forgot background and we got away, but yeah, man. That was Doc, you're right.
Yeah,
that time frame.
That was it, dude. Like I mean, I personally have a story like that, dude. Me and a Charlie Company dude, Garnica, my boy. I still in contact with him, man.
I went to basic training with him.
Yeah, he's doing awesome. He's in Arizona. He's good, bro. But
yeah.
Man, I remember me and him, same type thing. And it was against some Russian and some German guys. And there was quite a few. And we came downstairs at Tabasco's, and there was just two dudes getting worked by a bunch of guys. And I was just like, damn. I was like, who's American? And the two dudes getting worked were American. We looked at each other. We're like, man, we got to help. So we're trying to pull them out. We're not trying to fight anybody. Just trying to pull them out of there. And, so we end up getting into it. And you remember Tiki, Son Kapow? Yeah. So he ended up getting hurt, and we threw him in a car and got him back to barracks. But like we went back for these dudes, man. It was pretty crazy. But that was just, with the whole mortar platoon and all that stuff, those guys, man, it's just crazy times.
Mm-hmm.
And then
we got Fred getting chased back from downtown by some Turkish dudes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it was wild. Even before that, man. It was before you guys got there. Bunch of Russian guys ended up setting Joe on fire, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, that was
you really had to watch your back out there, man.
Was that at the bar across the hallway from Tabasco's?
Yeah.
But that's why they told us we can never go in there.
Yep.
I got about 5 feet in there, and I fucking got the fuck out, man. I didn't know, I just wanted to see inside this motherfucker. It was like mysterious.
Right? Yeah. There were a few of those places that you just didn't go to there, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In Germany, period. I was there for quite a minute, so I got to explore a lot of places where Americans didn't get to go, and it was a lot more fun than where the American president was prominent, and they it was a lot better interaction with the locals and stuff when it was away from it, because they didn't have as many horror stories, dealing with, it's the American again.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah. So do you remember during that time frame though, that 14 months from Kosovo to Iraq, how often we went to the field?
Yeah. And I remember how often we got our shit took. We had nothing.
Yeah.
And then they wondered why we were fighting so much, or people listening why we were fighting so much. We were bored. We had nothing to do but drink. They took all of our stuff. We were allowed a little 5x5 box of personal stuff, which most of us had a portable DVD player, some DVDs and stuff, and CDs, CD player, because that was a thing back then.
Yeah.
And
I even got into fights out there during that time. That's crazy for me, man. I ran from the Polizei.
We're all bored, man. We were, gearing up for, hey, we're going to Turkey. We're going to war. So all of us were getting in that mindset. Hey,
amped up.
We're going to freaking war. I might not come back. So I'm about to have as much fun as possible before I go. And
hell yeah.
If someone gets in my face, screw you, man. And that was just how it was.
Yeah, it got pretty wild. I remember there being briefings about, you motherfuckers out here fucking around, just fucking shit up constantly, man. It was damn near almost like gang type shit. Damn near, dude. It was fucking close to being off the chain like that.
I pulled my first Article 15 out of that, all that era. Remember we did a field problem, and we were doing a night mission with Nods. Johnson, you went over the Nods the last time, man. And no depth perception, and we're walking through the woods of Germany, and it's old growth forest, so there's a bunch of downed trees and stuff that's covered by moss and grass and all that stuff. And we're walking, and you're just following the guy in front of So if he steps just right, he doesn't stumble away. But you step, and me, I've got pretty big feet. So I step and I go through this one log and I twist my knee, that I've already injured in airborne school. And I was out for a good little bit. And catching a drunken disorderly with all that.
Was this the night mission where we stepped off right after sunset and walked all night long until sunrise, and then they did that pot smoke in the morning?
Yeah, that would be the one. I didn't make it the whole way.
You know what makes me mad about that mission? About that so our sergeant major at the time, I don't remember what his name was, but he was like, "Men, carry all the ammo you can. You're going to need it when you get there." And so I was a 240 gunner, and 100 rounds of 7.62 blank ammo weighs 5 pounds. So I loaded down, man. I had 1,800 rounds on me, right? Billy was my ammo bearer, my AG, my assistant gunner. And so he was carrying about 1,000 rounds. We're like, fuck it, man. We're about to party. Let's get some bullets. We had no idea how long we were going to walk. And so this shit's all in my ruck, all in my gun, all in my body armor, right? And we're walking, like you said, at night. I don't even get like 20 steps in. And I'm trying to step over a log, and I fall the fuck over, and I get turtled. You know what I'm saying? I'm stuck on my back. 2 dudes had to come help pull me up. And Doc, I'm almost positive you were one of them.
Yeah, more than likely.
And then, so we walk all night long, just dead ass exhausted, dude. We walked because like the sun had come up and had been up for a couple hours before we got to our position to put the gun in place. So we finally get there 10 hours later, put the gun down. We're overwatching this fucking little village. You see the cobs all milling around and stuff. I get my fucking and I'm ready to engage. I'm locked and loaded. I got belts fucking combined together, and they call index. I didn't fire a single round. I was so mad, so mad. But that helped. That prepared me for that one mission that we went on in Iraq. Remember we were handing out emergency radios?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
When first squad went down in the Reeds,
I went down. I was one of them.
Yeah,
that shit was fucking hell. Hats off to Sergeant Gill for keeping it together, because our entire squad fucking damn near fell out. I think it was maybe 1 or 2 dudes who didn't. It's already fuck. Let's fuck it.
Well, before we get there, like I know we've the previous episodes, and then we've mentioned them a couple times, but you go over who Mr. Billy Jack Phillips is, man.
Yeah. Man, go ahead, Doc.
That guy, he a native brother, so like I had a lot of interactions with that dude, and he was awesome. I just put that out there first off. But go ahead, bro.
As far as Billy Jack, dude. So Billy, like you said, he was native. He was a Kiowa Apache from Oklahoma, like full on Kiowa warrior. Now you look at him, and he's a very small, unassuming guy, right? And very kind, very soft spoken, a little weird. Nothing bothered him. You remember that? Nothing bothered him. I remember one time, dude, he pulled his boot off his foot, and his sock was bunched up all the way inside the boot. Like, and it was like that all day long. I was like, Billy, does that not bother you? He's like, here's what it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a sock. Like,
man, literally, it's just, how he grew up on the res. He didn't have crap. So, I mean, he was like, well, whatever, he was used to it.
You want to talk about fighting? Billy, nicest guy, but when he got to drinking that Jack, dude, like,
any of it. Or him and Bozil would share them damn Long Island iced teas at Tabasco's. So many times I'd be, hey Doc.
Yeah.
They fucking with me, man. Man, having to like stop what I'm doing talking to friends or females or whatever, and like take care of him. And I mean, because Doc was never off duty, and take him downstairs and put him in the cab and be like, and grab Bozy and be like, man, stop talking to this. Sorry, man, but this fat girl, and go home with your buddy. You helped him get this drunk. Now go take care of him. Put them both in a cab, get them out of there.
Yeah, I had to go downtown to Schweinfurt General Hospital one night with him after somebody busted him in his mouth. Found him all twisted up, like, man, dude, you gotta take it easy, dude. It's not gonna work out for you so much. And he kind of backed off it a little bit, but
you remember when he got his ass pummeled at the Megadrome?
What?
Yeah,
no,
dude.
I don't. What happened with that?
He was at the Megadrome one night, drunk, and so Billy Jack gets he gets to the point where he's drunk, and like he's throwing up what he thinks are gang signs, and he's like somewhat verbal. And then there's the next phase of him being drunk where he is like, no words are coming out of his mouth. He's just stumbly. Like you can look at his eyeballs; it's pitch black, right? So that was Billy Jack that particular night, and he's over at the Megadrome one night by himself and starts being drunk Billy, and 4 dudes stomped the shit out of him. You don't remember that? Like his face was all fucked up, dude.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he had so many names, and a lot was due from alcohol. Boot Wash Bill. And then Joe Dirt came out, so they Kicking Ring.
Yeah, that's the one that stuck.
Yeah, that one really stuck with him, man. But dude, super awesome dude, and it to me it's just a shame how it ended for him, and I wish I could have reconnected with him before he ended up passing.
Yeah,
awesome,
dude. So I was the one that found out that he had passed. When I left active duty in 2005, he drove over because we used to live like 2.5 hours from each other. So he drove over to see me in mid to late 2005, I guess. And and that was the last time I saw him, and like I lost contact with him, man. Like I didn't have his phone number or didn't work anymore, And so like I was like, Facebook had just come out or just sort of getting popular. So like, every so often I would get on there. Phillips. I would Google Billy Jack Phillips. And what was it, 2014, 13 or 14, or 15. Man, I don't remember what year it was, but I was digging around Facebook, looking over social media, trying to find out what happened to Billy. Yeah, because I had just come back from California. And finally got a hold of, because I remembered, do you remember what his original name was?
Sapehoodle?
Yeah, Sapehoodle, yeah. Richard Evans Sapehoodle.
Yep.
So yeah. I Googled that, best spelling, and got an actual spelling of it, and then started looking that up on Facebook, and I came across some Sapehoodles in Oklahoma. And so I just started messaging people left and right, going through the friends list, and then I found on one of them somebody with the last name of Phillips. I'm like, this can't be a coincidence. And so finally one of them contacted me back, and I think it was his uncle or cousin, and was like, oh yeah, no, Billy Jack passed away. And his mom here's his mom's name. Look her up on Facebook. She can tell you the whole story. So I messaged her and sent her my phone number, and we talked on the phone. And dude, I was at work. I was working at Loomis at the time, and I sat there in the cab of that truck bawling my fucking eyes out, man. Like, that was devastating to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I was pretty much the same when I found it out.
Yeah, it passed on my birthday.
Because it was pretty close, man. Like, even when I first got there, I remember one of those field deployments. It was one of my first ones with Second Platoon, and it was like the old school guys, like Double G. Man, I can't remember. But anyways, and everybody was wiped out except for me, Billy Jack, and I want to say it was P. Diddy. And we end up having to continue mission, and we end up passing and like taking the objective, just the three of us. Like it was pretty cool. I mean, I was like a PFC or something like that.
You remember that night in where were we, Hohenfels, and we were with Sergeant Winchester squad, machine gun squad, and we went to go set up that ambush at like midnight. You remember that night?
Vaguely. I mean, there's a lot of
this particular night was the one night that me, you, and Billy Jack cuddled.
Oh,
yeah,
isn't that fucking sweet?
Hey,
yeah, dude, it was so fucking cold
in
that night.
In that instance, man, it didn't matter. Like it was so fucking cold. Like, hey, there was no skin-to-skin contact. I mean, I'm good,
man.
I'm busting balls, man. I've been there before, dude.
We all have.
I was in the middle, though. I don't know how that worked out, but I was in the middle. You were behind me, and Billy Jack was in front of me. So I was like,
I'm always a big spoon, baby. Always a big spoon.
Yeah. But yeah.
All right, so we're fucking getting ready to go to Iraq.
Oh, yeah.
And we're in Iraq.
Man, well, damn. That drive to Kuwait, you guys are talking about that. And, like, how you fell asleep. Like, literally, I wrote down with, it was me and Love and a tanker E6. I can't remember his name. And we drove down in a 5-ton with no top.
Oh, yeah.
And a 50 cal. And I was on that fucking 50 cal most of the ride down. And if I wasn't on that 50 cal, I was driving. Me and Love, back and forth. The other guy didn't want to do much but sleep. Mm-hmm. So I remember
he was a tanker.
Yeah, he was a tanker. So I remember one night, and we're about to pull in and stop for the night. And so everybody's going real slow, that creep, And so, like, coming up on it, and I'm just coming up on him, and all right, break. And then the next thing I know is, boom, I'm waking up after hitting one of the dang mechanics' trucks. And so Rebecca comes out there and was like, man, what the hell? I'm like, man, sorry, my bad. I was like,
my bad.
I just dozed off. I was like, I've been on that 50 cal to drive it. I'm sorry. Like, it was like, and I knew him, so we had a good report. He was like, and there was no damage. It was like, like maybe 2 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Something like that. So
a little love tap.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah. Like riding down, man, like you guys were saying, it was just nuts. Like just thinking what the hell we about to expect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. It was fun. It was fun.
I remember in my head, man, it was almost like a fucking movie. Rolling over everything and
shit burning.
Iraq was
some places,
when the shit wasn't on fire. Iraq was actually a beautiful country.
The only thing that surprised me, I was expecting a lot more camels. I was slightly disappointed with the amount of camels I actually saw. Okay.
I don't remember seeing one.
Dude, I did. I got to fulfill my Schwarzenegger fantasy, and I punched him.
Oh man.
Peter's gonna get you, man.
Hey,
be careful with that.
Hey, it was a lifetime fantasy of mine. Like I grew up, Hey, Arnold was the man, dude. I emulated the guy. He was awesome, dude.
All right, so you've arrived to your duty, your home for the next year and a bit.
Well, yeah, our first
at Bradsfield Mora. Yeah,
the first one, and I lucked out. I got one of the possible out of the few guys that I was able to get along with the entire time, and that was Mr. Johnson. And that's my real dog, man. Like waking up to his sometimes balding, young balding head.
Oh God,
it was rough. Some
yeah.
you know what I mean. And we would just wake up and look at each other and just be like, "Oh." And both of us would grab a smoke and be like, "Yep." And Johnson would turn on some music, and we would start our day. You know, whatever that may entail.
Yeah, right.
We got pretty lucky. It was just us two for most of the time. Like the other two positions kept switching out.
I know we had Griff for a minute.
Yeah.
I can't remember when he switched out, I think that had something to do with like because at the time when we first got over there, I was the RTO.
Yeah.
And so you and I were like, platoons, like quote unquote like headquarters type elements. You know what I'm saying? We're not like operating in a certain we're operating in a very specific capacity outside of the regular infantry capacity, while also being in the infantry capacity.
Yeah.
Which I mean, so for people listening, so we keep referring to Doc as Doc. Wesley Skillen was our combat medic. He was a 68 whiskey in the Army. Like his job was combat medic. Our job was 11 Bravo infantry, mechanized. But
I was a 91 Bravo first.
Yeah, nobody cares about that. We don't talk about that. But Doc in Iraq and in Kosovo was on every patrol with us, weapon at the low ready, engaging when we were engaged. You know what I mean? Like he was operating in a until it was time for Doc to spread his angel wings and do his fucking job.
Yep.
Yeah. And I kind of want to impress on people like how hard that is to switch, right? To go from adrenaline fueled combat engagement to now I got to switch gears and pull out all of your medical knowledge and do what it is that you were trained to do. And I mean, and that's to me honestly, that's no easy feat, man. It really isn't. Like that's a big deal, man. Especially when you consider that the people that you were going to operate on to perform life-saving measures on were us, your buddies. Like we drank together, we fought together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like we've been, like you said before, we've been together for a while. We were like a well-oiled machine, man. And luckily, due to that, it is why our low casualty rate, the whole deployment. I mean, that was a lot to do with it. I mean, I did other steps, that we'll probably get into later. But I mean, that was, that was it, man. Like
a big contributing factor.
Operated so good.
You're kind of say something. You're kind of bubbling up on the audio.
Is it good now?
Anything better?
Yeah, that's good. There we go.
Yeah. So we're in Iraq, right? And yeah, and so it's early on in the year, right? Because we talked about in the last episode with Mike. We really started. We got up into Iraq in mid-March, and started doing stuff.
Yeah,
and that's when there's a very defining moment. Tyree, I don't know if you planning on getting into this yet, but that was a very defining moment for all of us, especially those of us who were there, and especially for those of you who were right there.
True.
Yeah.
Look, man. Let me start off. Let me explain up to my memory of what happened up until it happened.
Oh, I've got a good memory of it too. Go ahead.
So the day Kreider got killed, we were walking out to the Bradleys to go to this big, enormous pit to test fire weapons before mission. This is what we did before missions up until this day, every time we drove out. I remember seeing Kreider, who I did not really know very well. I've seen him. I know, like, he had some big-ass feet. It was the one thing that really stood out about him to me.
Yeah.
And he was fucking young. He was like a fucking baby.
Yeah. He was the youngest person every time. He was the newest person in our company.
Yeah, this fucking kid. And he had a saw, and he's dragging his ammo behind him. And I'm like, hey, motherfucker. Because, you know, at that point, I'm specialist promotable Brown. I'm trying to get promoted. I'm trying to, you know, lead by example and be that shining light for shit. And I'm like, hey, motherfucker, you're dragging your saw ammo. He picks it up and fucking goes off to the vehicles. And we walk out to this fucking pit. So we're at the pit, and it's a long line of us. And
well, hey,
go ahead.
Can I interject you right there, man? And like, because it goes a little bit before that, before it gets to the firing pit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
To really get the grasp behind it, man. Because I've spent a lot of time thinking about this. Because, man, he was the only dude in all my time in the Army I ever lost. Like, right there, lost. Like,
yeah.
They might have passed, you know, outside of my care or whatever, but as long as they were with me, he was the only dude that I lost. And it really set the tone for me. And it really upset me because I spoke about it earlier about how the command can fuck shit up. We always, like you said before, Johnson, like I was like an infantry guy until it was time to be a medic. So I knew everybody's job besides my own. Like I took an interest in that. It's something I wanted to do. So I wanted to learn it, you know? And I thought it was so odd us going up there to the test fire pits and stuff, because we always pull up 2 Bradleys at a time. They traverse test fire, drop ramps for dismounts to go test fire at the pit. Dismounts load back up, 2 pull off, and so on and so forth. Well, this time they had a whole line of damn Bradleys, you know, up there. Drop ramp before, and there's really a whole ass ton of people out there at this test fire pit. It was a gaggle fuck from hell.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was way more people than normal.
Yeah, I mean, way more. It's usually, you know, 2 squads, which is, you know, 12 people, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
And now it's a whole freaking company at the test fire pit. And you got people yelling at you, the higher ups, oh, hurry up, get back to your vehicles, you know, but you got to go test fire. And there's a sign that says, you know, no dismount test fires past this point. Well, there's so many people out there, no one's paying attention to that. And you know, I'm standing there, I'm like, well, I'm not going to push and fight my way up here. I'll test fire, and I mean, they ain't going to start this mission without me anyways. So,
right.
And Kreider was there next to me, and he was like, you know, like you said, brand new guy, and he was like, you know, oh, well, I'm going to go down here. And I just remember looking at him and be like, well, all right, man, go ahead. I ain't trying to push my way around. And shortly after that, you know, ba 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 ba, and you know, as I'm looking over, I see the rounds impacting, and it was rough, dude, like seriously rough. And I just remember, you know, just throwing my hand up, over my face, ceasefire, how they taught us, and just running. I dropped my weapon and just ran. Because, we're right there. We're not out in the sector. I ran up there to him, man. And just doing whatever I could. And, there wasn't much I could do. He was gone before he hit the ground. But man, it upset me so much because it didn't need to happen. And but for the simple fact of people trying to rush to impress someone, there was no need for it.
Yeah.
And it was hard on me, man. Like I said, it was the first dude that I lost, and it really set a tone for me. And I was like, not again. I'm not doing it. Like, so from that point, as far as like medically for us, there was two other guys that were EMT paramedic certified. Or no, one. Their love was. And then Weller had his EMTB. And then I made it a goal to get the entire platoon CLS qualified, Combat Lifesaver qualified. So they knew how to, be the first line person there to help save one of us. So they had, airway, knew how to do IVs, stop bleeding, tourniquets, things like that. Also, because I am who I am, I'm kicking doors and shooting at motherfuckers. I'm liable to something happen to me, and I need someone to look after me too. So
yeah,
it's like I made sure you guys knew everything to do. I was like, it was rough, man. It was a rough day.
Yeah, I was standing next to him when it happened, and I to this day I kind of feel like I'm responsible for it, man, because as we're getting pushed over further and further and further down this line, and I remember looking at the stick and I'm like, can't go past that, so I stop. I'm not going anymore, and I shoot, and as I'm turning around, I see you running towards me, hauling ass, hand flying in the air, the ceasefire thing. And I look down on the ground, and there's a helmet just spinning on the ground, skidding around on the ground in the dirt. And I look over at Kreider, who I didn't know was Kreider at the time.
Yeah.
Completely gone. There's no...
Yeah, the only way that we knew who it was, because everybody was asking, and I couldn't tell. And someone's like, said who it was. We recognized him by the tattoo on his arm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I saw you guys running up, and I'm like, man, you can stop.
Yeah. That training, it just kicks in. And dude, I have to say, I used to be the biggest dude that used to complain about doing repetitive stuff in the Army.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, then, and like you said, like Easter Sunday and that stuff, like it clicked in my head why we did stuff over and over and over again. Because when it came down to it, like I just reacted. And I didn't think about it. It was just second nature. And I was like, all right, I get it now. It's like an epiphany moment.
Yeah, it is that moment. Kevin, what do you got, man?
Being a drill, and you put soldiers through training, and you kind of want to, express the importance of doing, repetitive training to establish that muscle memory, so that when you do find yourself in those situations, that you shut down essentially, and you go on autopilot and you just perform, and sometimes you even black out. I remember when Regan came to us from 82nd, he had deployed to Afghanistan with the initial push over there, And, he was in combat. And I remember asking him, I was like, what was it like? He said, man, we got in this one engagement and all I remember is taking shots. Next thing I know, I'm laying on the ground behind my 240, rounds complete. He's like, I had no idea what happened. I just blacked out and did my job. And that happens,
Yeah.
The thing. But and it goes back to what you're saying, Doc, like doing that stuff over and over and over. It seems tedious. It seems, oh, really, we gotta do this again? I know this stuff. I know this stuff. But like, when you find yourselves in that situation, it's not about, yes, I know it when I'm testing. It's about needing to know it when it's real life.
Yeah.
So when all that went down, man, I was on the test fire pit, probably like 20 meters away from where you and Kreider were, Tyree, and I remember the coax going off. I was like, well, wait a second, they're not supposed to be shooting.
Yeah.
I turn around and like I see, Doc, you didn't drop your M16, you hurled that motherfucker. Yeah, dude, you like launched it. It was in your right hand. You launched it. And I
might have threw it at the track, man. I don't know.
Nah, you just threw it off to the side. I mean, but like 10, 15 feet away from you. And like that was the fastest I've ever seen you move, man. Like you immediately saw that a soldier was on the ground, and obviously not knowing who it was at the time. And you were our platoon. You were the second platoon medic, but to the medic, to the doc, that doesn't matter. You see, a U.S. soldier down, then you're going to spring into action. And you did. And I remember, man, just looking over there, like I remember seeing Kreider as he was falling to the ground, and obviously there's a big huddle around it and everything. So I couldn't see what was happening, like, in the immediate area until I got closer. But, so this whole event, man, it was our first, I don't know, really anything, right? Like,
yeah,
that was our first
we had just
casualty, man. Like our first.
I mean, we had just gotten. So this was March 21st, all right? March 21st, man. So we were brand new to this deployment. I mean, we had gone out on a few presence patrols here and there. I think we had already had that. I think the Abrams had already run over that landmine or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that was just a small thing. But this, man, like I remember going back. They said they canceled the mission that day. I remember us going back to the Chews.
Oh,
and it was just fucking quiet, man. Quiet. You know what I mean? Like you could hear a pin drop from the other side of Samara. And what's crazy to me is, and this still goes on in the military and law enforcement, with firefighters, EMTs, the medical professionals, and people that work in this particular field, you're expected to perform immediately after. We went back on a mission the next day, and we had to go out and do our patrol like clear-headed. Yeah. We hadn't even had his memorial, and we're back out in Samara doing patrols.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is it was war. But that isn't war. What we had to do was war. That I can't emphasize to this day, man, is a senseless death that didn't need to be happening. It's carelessness, and I just feel for his family, man, and that his life was cut short so early.
Yeah, he was 19 years old, man.
I felt 19. For his the people in his platoon.
Yeah,
I sat with some of them after, and it was like fucking rage, anger. I mean, you're in combat. And your buddy goes down, you want to go get the motherfucker that did it.
Yeah.
But in this particular case, the motherfucker that did it is your fucking friend. And of course, he didn't do this shit on purpose, but fuck. The first time that you have to deal with that shit and doing your job for real, it made the entire deployment real. It was that moment right there.
Yeah.
It was it. Everything else changed. Nothing else mattered.
No,
it was fucking.
And as far as I was concerned, man, and even conventions say you can't fire unless protecting your casualties, whatever. I'm trying to prevent casualties. Like if I negate that threat, then I won't have no casualties to deal with. So
yeah. And it's like you said, it was a senseless death in more ways than one. Like, it was an accident. It was negligence, but it was an accident.
Yeah.
And for that reason, it shouldn't happen. The reason that it made us angry when we went out on patrols is if we weren't in Iraq in this war, he wouldn't have been there in front of that Bradley.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's another big can of worms that this podcast ain't about.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like, man, after that, it was, we did a lot of other training outside of our missions to prevent stuff like that. And it was, from there on out, everything was a lot more careful. And like, I know by our platoon, like, everybody knew where they were firing before they pulled the trigger.
Yep.
And, that had to do with the command, those NCOs and stuff that were out there with us. Like, Wild Bill. I freaking love that guy.
Yeah. Definitely. The leadership will prevent shit like that from happening. We didn't have shit like that happen in our platoon.
No. I mean, that's
I'm
why
not gonna say I'm not knocking any other platoon with their shit, because I don't know what the hell they have going on over there. But I know that over in second platoon, we had our shit we're fucking ready. All right,
yeah.
We're fucking ready at all times. And
yeah,
I think
and
that came from our leadership, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like because we talked about that with Griff, and I feel like future episodes, I mean, it's going to be a recurring. Like, there's not going to be a single person that was there who is going to disagree with that, who can find another reason why things went so well. It is largely in part due to the leadership that we had prior to deploying and while we were deployed. Yeah. I mean, it absolutely was, man.
And that we, like you've said, we have all said, it's like we already deployed together. We went through so many field problems together. It was a well-oiled machine, dude.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, you couldn't have asked a better group of guys to go to war with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that, like, some of these NCOs are still NCOs, senior NCOs, the seniorest of NCOs in the United States Army, still out there leading troops, and have been since since 2004. You think about, like, how many troops that they've led on various deployments, various training missions at various units across the Army. Reach is so far and so great, like, and the positive influence that that they, I mean, obviously, I guarantee you there are always those soldiers who hated them as a first sergeant, or hated them as a young sergeant major or whatever, but that's just because they're shitbags in the Army.
No, those are the guys that can't separate friends from work. Those are the same guys that get mad at their boss when they're not drinking the night before, but then they make them go do their job. So man, this is what it is. It's a job like anything else. When you told to do something, you need to do it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna. I love to death. I love our leadership that we had over there, but I feel like we're definitely giving them a good reach around this go around. Honestly, and man, I don't. The thing that happened with Kreider was fucking terrible. Can't express that enough. The worst possible thing. This young soldier deploys to combat to fight and potentially die in combat, and that's just not how it happens. And that's bullshit. But I kind of want us to lighten the mood a bit. Not to take away from that, you know what I'm saying? But, like, there's a couple other things that happened in Iraq that I kind of want to bring up. And And so if you guys are good.
I'm all right, man.
Oh, yeah.
Hang on. Doc?
Charlie Mike.
Doc, I have a question for you. Do you remember what was written on 95% of all buildings in Samara?
Oh, God.
Tyree, you know what I'm talking about?
No, what are you talking about?
Doc, you remember?
Yeah. Oh, I remember. Go ahead. Go ahead with the story.
So, those of you who are listening, Doc Skillen was it was definitely an exaggeration. You were never fat, right? You were a bigger dude. You could move mass. You know what I'm saying?
Like by normal standards, no. Army standards, I guess.
Oh, yeah, right. But and that's neither here nor there. That needs to be adjusted anyway. But anyway, I can't remember who started it, but I want to say it was dudes in first squad. On just random buildings all over Iraq, you would see Doc is fat.
That's fucking Frederick.
Every fucking where.
Frederick is
everywhere, dude. Yeah. Was it Fred?
Yeah. Hey, yeah. But years later, karma's a bitch.
Oh yeah, man. I watching you on seeing you on Facebook and everything, like no homo, bro. Like you got hot.
Yeah, you got it. You cleaned up pretty good, man. I saw the 6-pack. I'm like, man, it's been working out.
Yeah. But only 6-pack I've ever had came in the form of beer.
Yeah, still.
But yeah, that was a wild one. I mean, it was all just friendly rubbing and ribbing and shit, So it's
rubbing.
Yeah, right. I mean, we all had to. It was just trying to make light of the situations we're in. We all messed with each other. Everybody had their little nicknames and the crazy wild stories and stuff. Like, oh man, Johnson. I mean, I was looking through pictures and stuff. Like, do you remember almost kissing the dead dog? Well, actually, tonguing the dead dog.
Yeah, it's on my Facebook actually. My mom comments, "Is like, Kevin, what are you doing?" Keep scrolling, Mom. Don't just ignore that one. Yeah. I was actually just looking at that yesterday. I was like, "What the fuck was wrong with me, man?" But
dead dog.
He was like, "Yeah, get this." I'm like,
I didn't actually make contact with it. But yeah, dude, and I've thought about that several times. Like, not just that particular thing, but like a lot of things, and like, doing the shit that you're doing when you're deployed, when you're in combat. I've always kind of thought that to prevent yourself from going like in a spiral, going crazy, you kind of have to allow yourself to be a little crazy so you can control it. Do you know what I mean? Because like some of the shit that we were doing over there, like not combat related, do in real life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it's just zero fucks we're given.
Absolutely. Zero fucks.
You're like, I remember I might die today or tomorrow or the next day. So like, hell, we're going to have fun while we're not working.
Yeah, man. We were YOLO before YOLO happened.
Imagine how shit would have been if we had the internet like Facebook and Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah.
During fucking, you see the craziest shit, I promise.
Well, I mean, we never had access to the internet much. It was always, wait an hour or something like that.
We didn't have time for that shit.
Yeah, well, it was always It was always blacked out too.
Yeah, that too. Like second deployment was totally different. But I know you guys didn't get in on that one, but I had to go back for that one too. That was a long 18 months.
You went back with Bravo or with 126, right?
Yeah, I went back with 126 and Sergeant Marcatante. He knew like the shit that we went through that deployment, and he was like, hey, why don't you just come to the aid station, kind of take a little step back from like the frontline type stuff, and come like learn some more medical type stuff. And I was like, all right, cool. And,
now, if I'm not mistaken, dude, was that deployment 126 was considered the what was it? had seen the most combat, or like had the worst shit since Vietnam.
The hardest hit unit since Vietnam. Yeah. Man,
that was the same year. That was the same year that McGinnis got the Medal of Honor.
Yes. And dude, from going from first deployment to that deployment, it was like 9 days, man. Like, you know, Wild Wild West to Cops filmed live on Baghdad. It was so ridiculous. You know, for a warning shot, you had to do a 15-6 investigation. You know, a big packet. For a warning shot, it was ridiculous. Our hands were tied a lot. And that's just the way it was. And then, you know, the tactics they were using were a little different than what we were used to. And then they had a lot more explosives than they did the last time.
Yeah. So I don't know if you know this, but there was I guess she was an embedded Army Times journalist with you guys called, her name is Kelly Kennedy. And she wrote a piece on that, and it's called "They Fought for Each Other: The Triumph and Tragedy of the Hardest Hit Unit in Iraq." And so that ought to tell you a lot, man.
Yeah. But you asked me what I did, and I just want to touch on that real quick to send a little shout out, man. I ended up having to go out with our support platoon, and I was not going to be doing anything. My mindset, I was like, I'm going to be chilling in the aid station, hitting the gym, and eating some good food this deployment. No MREs, no easy mac and tuna. Like, I'm not doing it. You know, or ramen. So one day into my hooch door walks a young gentleman that had become a very good friend of mine, Frank Fields, and he was with the support platoon, and they needed a medic, and his platoon Sergeant Nagel was like, "Hey, you're pretty close with Skillen, and I've heard some good things about him. Why don't you go see if he'll be our platoon medic?" And he walked through the door and asked me, "Hey, you know, we need a medic. You come with us?" Man, I dropped what I was doing, kind of hung my head, and I was like, "Man, you're a fucking asshole." Because I was like, you knew, you came and asked me, I couldn't say no. So I, you know, grabbed my shit and went down to the hoosh and got ready to go out and patrol with support platoon. And man, everything happens for a reason. And I'm glad I did, dude, because I got to save his life. One night he ended up hitting, we hit an EFP, which is a improvised explosive device wrapped in copper. And we had up armoreds and everything, but they, you know, cut through it like butter and ended up losing both his legs. But, you know, was able to get up there and, you know, throw some tourniquets on while we were taking fire and get him loaded up, packed up in CAS evac into the green zone within 12 minutes, man. Yeah. So saved his ass, got him in there, and you know, the brigade or the hospital commander came down and was like, "Wow, man." He's like, "You're just a specialist?" I was like, "Yeah, second time go around." But you know, he's like, "You know, we don't get, you know, people in here like that, you know, much from the field." He's like, "You did an outstanding job, you know, blah, blah, blah." I was like, "Yeah, he's my best friend. You know, what am I going to do?" So after he came out of surgery and stuff, we were able to leave. And I ended up getting a Archon with V device from that. And you were talking about that in the last episode. It is one of those that you really hold dear to you because you usually get it for some wild shit.
Yeah.
And man, fast forward to today, that dude is a life coach. He's doing awesome things. Like, he's an inspiration to me, like, all the time. Like, whenever I feel down and stuff, I give him a call. We talk or whatever. Awesome dude.
Was there ever a time when it was too much?
As far as what, missions,
like
or
doing your job, what you train for,
like where I couldn't do my job, where I was
saving
like,
lives? Where
oh,
was there ever a time where you're like, "Fuck, what the hell is going on here?"
To where I couldn't do it.
We're not where you couldn't do it, but like it was just like
your breaking point almost.
Yeah, your breaking point. What was?
No,
did you ever come up to that point?
Well, I mean, I had it, and I was kind of losing a little bit, and they had to pull me off.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, like, I ended up catching Q fever, the second tour, and it was, a spore thing that comes through the dust. It comes from barnyard animals. We're driving around the Humvees, dust, you inhale that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I got pretty sick, man, and like I wouldn't come off mission. Like Sergeant Mark was like, it basically had to come out to the Humvee and be like, stand down. You are not going on mission. I was like, sorry. I was like, I have all the respect for you, but fuck you. These are my guys. I'm going on mission, And it just came down. I was like, all right, the only person I'll let go is Sergeant Messner. If Sergeant Messner goes, I'll allow it, type shit. Mm-hmm. So, man, other than that, not really, dude. Like, later, yeah, definitely. And I mean, still today, a lot of things I have to deal with. It's been crazy. But through, fate and karma, I guess, or whatever, I lucked up into a really awesome job. So,
and what is that?
Man, I work for a predominant timber company here in the Pacific Northwest, and I basically ride around with my dog all day and in the woods, and I check passes, gates and stuff, and make sure nobody's doing things they ain't supposed to. And honestly, it affords me time to heal and process and, go through things.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Some reflection.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Damn, man. It's fucking incredible. I'm glad that you have that little bit of peace for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, that's, there's so many people that when they come home that they don't ever find that. They're just flooded with other things, or they just never allow themselves to have that, and they just, get buried in it. So, yeah, it's that's for sure a fucking good thing.
Yeah, and I mean, this is all new this year. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, I've been through it, dude. Like, I understand like the struggles and everything everybody goes through. And I'm in the process of trying to do some things with this company, as well as so I can hopefully give back to some veterans and stuff, and have them come out and be able to utilize a little bit of this forest to camp out, maybe do some fishing, hunting, come together and like share stories, and hopefully it helps somebody out, because a lot of that stuff does, man. And sometimes you're on some of these trips, these veterans and stuff, and you make a connection with a guy that you never knew or whatever, and it's just, man, it reminded you of somebody, or maybe it reminded you of somebody that you lost over there, and it helps so much,
Mm-hmm. That's dope, man. I love the fact that you're giving back to other veterans, or at least trying to, because the war's over, right?
I mean, yeah, but
man, it never is.
The time,
you know what I mean?
You guys know it's hard for us to get care, and like from actually people that care to give us that care, and me being the the medic and stuff, dude, it's very frustrating to see for them not caring about me or the other guy, or when that nurse is giving that 70-year-old vet attitude, it's like, why, or whatever. So I think whenever us as a veteran community can do something to help each other out, that's the most positive and best thing we could probably do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Word. This shit started to sound like a fucking Saturday morning fucking cartoon special.
Right.
No, but I mean, it's absolutely right though, man. And Tyree, would you not agree that like one of the additional reasons for us doing this podcast in general is to get these stories out there, to let other people know that, like, man, like, you've been through it, we've been through it. You know what I'm saying? Like, hear our story, you can relate. You know what I mean? Like, you're not alone in this.
Oh hell yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a big thing, dude. Because when they talk about the suicide rates within the veteran community, like, I'm still in the Army, right? So they just recently revamped the suicide training, and it's just as terrible as it was before. It's not good. It's death by PowerPoint.
Oh, God.
It's the same material, just reworded, and that's not the right answer. It hasn't been working. So you can't just roll out a new PowerPoint and say, this is it. This is the fix all. Well, no, it's not, man. That's not.
Man, like, they need to have, like, some of us, like, come in and redo that stuff for them and stuff. But, that's hard to do.
Yeah.
I think it starts with a conversation, though. You got to get people to talk about it.
Yeah.
You got to get people who want to help, not motherfuckers who are forced to help, because I don't think you're going to get the best help from that.
Yeah,
I think you get people who want to help.
Most of the time, it's that person collecting a paycheck. It's not a want or a need for them. They're just like, just doing this to pay my bills.
Mm-hmm. That's not who I want.
Yeah.
That's not who I want for that kind of thing. I want somebody who gives a fuck.
Y'all remember when we first got back in 2005? You remember what they went, like, our what was it, our transitional phase or whatever the fuck it was called, where they were like, hey, do you have PTSD? This is what they told me. I said, I don't even know what that is, because I'd never heard it before. This was back in 2005, man. Like, war was new to our generation.
Oh, well,
if you don't know what it is, then you probably don't have it. But if you do have it, any symptoms should subside within 8 weeks. Are you shitting me? That's what the lady told me. And she wasn't they were social workers. They weren't, like,
it was
exactly professionals in that particular field.
I remember it was a 1-page sheet that you went through, and it wasn't like fine print. It was very bold. Like, do you feel like killing yourself? Do you feel like hurting others? Blah blah. It was just the most generic thing, and all of us knew, like, okay, no. And if you didn't know, the NCOs or whoever looked at those soldiers and said, you put no for those. Like, right.
I mean, you were kind of coached.
Yeah, because hey, suck it up and drive on.
Yeah,
it wasn't even a suck it up and drive on thing for me, because I definitely have PTSD, but it was more of a, I just want to get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm hindering my escape route. I mean, all of us were held past our ETS day. I mean, I ended up reopening, but that was like right at the end, and I was just like, all right, I guess you're right. I'm not gonna do anything after that. Give me my $10,000.
Yeah, right.
I passed go. Give me my money.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I mean, I ended up doing like almost 10 years.
10 years all active?
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
My last duty station was Fort Lost in the Woods.
Yikes!
Oh man, yeah, I was a drill sergeant up there. Never want to do that again.
Started at the ER. The first night on duty there, man, there was a shooting at the club, and I was I had my dude all packed up and ready to go, and they're still working. They're like, "Where's your guy? Where's the guy you had?" I'm like, he's out there waiting on the bird, ready to go. What are y'all doing? It was another one of those, hey, you're doing an awesome job. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't care.
Pat on the back.
Yeah. You're not telling me nothing I don't know.
Yeah, at that time, I was ready to get out, man. I was biding my time, because I knew I was getting out. Because like I couldn't handle any more deployments, man. I was done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially in your field, man. Like,
I mean, but first tour was definitely like, for me, it was a lot. Man, I hate to say it, but it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, there were the moments that sucked, right? But like in general, it was. I mean,
that's fucking life, though, bro. Those are the defining moments that make everything so great. That old saying, the sweet wouldn't be as sweet without the bitter.
Mm-hmm.
And all those bitter moments made all of us come together. Like I'm so many things that come back to me. So many memories listening to the other podcasts. Because for me, I don't think about these things because it brings up stuff and it's hard to deal with and hard to raise kids and stuff like that. So I tend not to think about it. But these things have helped me like think of the good stories too, like of all of us hanging out and being in the shitty situations and stuff, and like the good stories and memories that came from those, like something just horribly ridiculous.
Oh my God! You want to talk about something fucking ridiculous? I got a fucking ridiculous story with Doc.
Right?
I hope it's that one.
Hey,
I hope it's that one.
This right here is when the first signs of PTSD showed up for Doc.
Yeah. You motherfucker. So we are at fucking Patrol Base Ubani. Fucking long missions and shit, doing all kind of long nights, fucking walking all over the fucking place, doing all kind of shit, missions and fucking combat, fucking we're getting contact on a daily basis. We're fucking beat the fuck up, tired.
12 on, 12 off.
Tired, worn out, man.
Yeah, and like 12 off was like...
the 12 off really went 12 off because you were eating, guard duty, radio duty, getting all your shit ready for the next thing. Yeah. Or like me helping out with our local aid station.
Yeah, you're always fucking running around, man. You're everywhere. You couldn't go around the corner without seeing Doc doing Skillen doing something.
Yeah.
So anyway, after this particularly long mission, fucking I don't even know what the fuck we're doing. I don't remember it anyway. We come back to the classroom that we are sleeping in. By now we have bunk beds. I don't remember if we actually had beds yet, but they're bunk beds.
Well, we had those Haji mats.
Yeah.
All of us were like, screw it, we're not sleeping on the bars here, so we're buying Haji mats.
Yeah. So if you got a nice mat, man, just a fucking better setup than sleeping on the fucking floor, man. I promise you. Yeah. So we're laying down sleeping. I'm laying down sleeping anyway, and I hear rustling. I hear some movement. I'm like, fucking Doc's walking towards him. Skillen, what the fuck you doing? Fucking walking. I'm like, what the fuck you doing? He looks like he's pulling his fucking, like, unbuttoning his pants. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, Skillen? I'm saying it's louder and louder, trying to get his attention. This motherfucker starts to fucking pee on me in my fucking bed. Not like in the face. Not in the face. But it's like splashing about fucking everywhere except the face. I get so fucking pissed off. But I know what the fuck is going on. I know he's not doing this shit on purpose. Like, I know this. This motherfucker's been working his ass off to the point that he's just fucking burnt the fuck out, man. And I'll never forget it. Like, he snapped out of it eventually. You know, they say you're not supposed to wake up sleepwalkers. Fuck that.
Dude, I'm surprised you didn't uppercut him in his fucking dick, man.
Dude, I wanted to, but I'm like, man, this motherfucker's going through something. Like,
bro.
I'm smart enough to know that is not normal behavior. That's not something that he would do. I didn't piss Doc off. So,
hell, you never pissed Doc off.
Yeah, you can never piss.
Right.
Well, fucking, I thought you could never piss on Brown, but here we go.
No, man, like the crazy thing, like I don't even remember, like, but I vividly remember like being in my barracks room in Schweinfurt, going to take a piss, and then next thing I remember is like opening my eyes and I'm pissing on your rucksack, man.
I was so pissed off, dude.
Oh, dude,
You
I
were
was like, I literally was like,
pissed on.
Yeah. Dude, I was embarrassed, but like, I was like, fuck, man. Like, and then, because we had some training and shit, and I kind of like, after, things, I thought about it for a little bit. I was like, kind of clicked in my head. I was like, yeah, this is first signs of, doing stuff like that, it's PTSD, so I was like, well, great. Like, thanks, Army. But no,
here we go.
Yeah. Like those situations, man, like where it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Dude,
fucked up part is there was a fucking audience because peeps watched that shit.
Man, like everybody. Because like
I was in the next room. Same ago. I was in the next bay over and I heard this shit, dude.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It was wild.
Oh my god. But see, that's how you know you're my boy, because if you was somebody else, we'd have some problems.
Right.
Here, goddamn 2 decades later, we're still fucking laughing about it.
Yeah. Man, I mean, dude, like friendships is lifetimes, you know what I mean? Like, so many things. Like, you remember when you dressed up in the man dress and had the
yeah.
There's pictures of that around on the internet somewhere.
Yes, I have the original video. Like I still have my external hard drive from that deployment.
Oh, so you probably got
everything, all the original stuff. I have it all, like the tanker stuff, the 500-pound bomb, like all that stuff, man.
You're the original fucking man on scene.
Oh yeah,
you need to that stuff, man. Because like my computer that I had over there. I can't get it to boot up or anything. I mean, I could probably harvest the hard drive and see what's on there, but
I had everything on an external, an 80 gig. Dude, it's one of the big fucking things. It looks.
Man, back in the day when 80 gigs was big.
Yeah, it was.
What would be a great idea is if we were to create some kind of extra place where people could see all that kind of shit and go leave their comments.
Oh yeah, because
one of those kind of pictures that would be great.
I pass mine around.
You're right.
I have other platoon stuff, other squads. Some of the tanker guys from Rebecca and them, Roja, not Rebecca, Roja. Yeah. So I've got all that. Doc was plugged in with everybody.
You see, we can create something that everyone can go back and look and remember.
Yeah,
share
photos too, all kinds of stuff. The damn camel spiders.
Well, Tyree, like we were talking about earlier, and in the group chat in the community, and I was being resistant. I take it back. It's probably a good idea.
It's hard to get Kevin to get on board with shit. God damn it! But check this out. Hey, we got a few minutes left. I want to thank you for talking to us, man. This shit was fucking funny. We got into some deep shit. There was no urine this time. That's always dope. But no
R. Kelly.
Oh man, don't worry about it. Man, it was so good to talk to you, man. I love you fucking like a motherfucker.
Matt.
The fact that you even wanted to come on here and talk, we got a bunch of people who want to come and talk to us. Be patient. It takes a minute to get shit together sometimes. But shit like this, man, tell your story. Come on here and fucking talk with us.
Yeah.
It's cool, man. It's you can let some shit off your chest.
Yeah.
You can
definitely that, bro. It's a way to kind of heal, but in a good way, man. Just kick back, maybe a brew, a smoke, and, just cut up with some old friends, living old memories. And not all of them have to be bad,
Yeah.
like tonight, we've talked about all kinds of stuff. And I mean, there was more stuff I was thinking about talking about, like combat related stuff, and we never even got to it. You know?
Well, I mean, the good news is, dude, like it doesn't have to end. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, this episode will obviously have to end, but like, I mean, we can bring you on and we can talk more. We can keep going. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm
sure we didn't even scratch the surface with stories.
Oh yeah, dude.
There's like so many. Like the one that always sticks with me, man, and I talk about it with like close people. You know, I'm like, hey, check this crazy shit out. What we did. You know, the Golden Quran. Yeah. You know, basically looking for the Holy Grail. You know, it was one of those things that was just like awesome. Or you know, just the other day in the group chat you were talking about, man. I just realized that a man that I had very many conversation with, and you know, never knew his name, and we talked about, you know, hometown stuff, military stuff, and whatnot, and come to find out that's, you know, someone that's very famous now, you know, Chris Kyle.
Yeah.
In all these years, I didn't know that was him. You know,
not a clue. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, you know, stuff like that, dude. It's nuts, man.
Like what you find out when you talk to a motherfucker.
Yeah.
You talk to your friend and you fucking find out some shit that they did that you didn't do. And then you can weave this shit together.
Yeah.
And make this picture.
Yeah.
Tells a story.
A full on like panoramic, or you know, a 360 view as much as you can, filling the holes in. Yeah, man. Hey, so the last thing that I want to say is before we go is like there's a quote, right, or whatever the fuck, right? The combat medic rules. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
All right. Rule number 1: good men will die. Right. This is combat medic stuff. Rule number 2: Doc can't save everyone. All right. Rule number 3: Doc will go through hell to break rule 1 and 2. And I would like to add a 4th rule in there. Sometimes Doc might piss on you. But no, man, if that doesn't, if that doesn't, like that is, and to this day, this 2000, we were deployed in 04. You are still my Doc. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that, dude. Like, I mean, it's like, honestly, for me, it was like having, you know, like 32 freaking kids, bro. Like, because, I mean,
well,
honestly,
being a kid yourself.
yeah, I was too, you know, but like, no, because everybody came to me, you know, hey, Doc, my feet are messed up, or Doc, I don't feel good, or Doc, I'm shitting blood, or whatever, Doc, you know.
It burns when I pee.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, and I had to deal with that with you guys, man. So it's like I'm as close as most guys with their females, you know. So yeah. So we get
you got some intimate knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and you guys know how I was, you know. I mean, we've touched on it a couple times. I'd rather be slinging bullets than IVs.
Yeah.
But there you were.
Yeah.
Doing both.
Yeah, exactly.
So that'll be the end of this fucking show. Again, thank you for coming on, Doc. It was a really good talk to you. I haven't talked to you in forever. We're going to have you back on. Don't worry about it.
Right.
And this is me and Kevin's show. Kevin and I's show. However the grammar goes, it doesn't matter.
It's the twos of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The both of you.
Hey, I love it. And before we get off here, I want to commend both of you for doing this, guys, for giving back to the veteran community, because that's what you guys are doing now with this. Because, you know, someone's going to hear this and it's going to help them in that time. It's going to help them remember something. Maybe it'll help them reach out to somebody. You know, it's a tough thing to do, and you guys are doing awesome at it. Thank you.
Man. I appreciate
that.
I appreciate it.
For sure.
All right. Y'all have a good night. And this will be on soon. You can find our podcast everywhere. Fucking
iTunes, Spotify.
Yeah, everywhere. iTunes, Spotify,
Ham Radio.
web browsers, Anchor, There's so many others that I cannot find right now.
Did you ever put it on that Bean Pod or Pod Bean or you know what I'm talking about?
I didn't get around to that yet. I'm still adding more stuff. There's Google Podcasts. There's all kinds of stuff. So you can find us. Just look for us. Before I forget. And have a good night. Love you guys. Take care. I'll talk to you later. All right.
Deuces.